you know, like they would come, because they did all live together, you know. They would come to say something, the dog would by her, and sometimes the dog would growl, and she'd have to say, go lay down, Jack. You know, on kids. And by me being like 5,
Hmm.
and I wasn't afraid of dogs, like I love dogs. All right, I would play with Jack until he get tired of me. And then Jack would growl and grab me by my hand like that, but he wouldn't bite me. But he was saying, leave me the hell alone. I'm tired of overloading the dog. And you know what I say? Okay, Jack. And he would go and lay down. You know, and I respected that. He was letting me know, leave me the hell alone. I'm tired. You know? But, you know, as long as I, you know, he could stand me, you know, he never tried to bite me. You know, but all grown kids almost were afraid of Jack because, you know,
Most people were afraid of Jack, right, Grandma?
yeah, but no.
Most black
But
people are afraid of dogs, in my opinion, especially in this city.
they were black, okay?
Hmm. A lot of black people love dogs and have dogs, but for the most part, I think most are scared of dogs, especially in this city. That's why there are more cats. More people in this city own cats than dogs. But this is not a dog-friendly city.
Well, I know, I know a dog will, like I said, give his life for his owners, you know, okay?
It's probably why I don't like dogs that much. Some dogs, because some owners don't deserve to be protected, I think. Like bloodhounds, I hate bloodhounds. But I'm sure you know why.
They criminals, mostly.
I'm sorry?
Criminals,
I'm sorry?
I say criminals.
What about them?
Bloodhounds usually hunt criminals, I think.
Bloodhounds used to be the dogs that they used to find slaves and attack slaves and eat slaves. And during the time when they was hanging a lot of black during the civil rights movement, and also yes, in prisons when you go to prisons, they keep bloodhounds there to intimidate the prisoners. They train them to just bark really loud and aggressively to try to intimidate people.
No, I really don't know. I really don't know. And dogs, I feel, now I don't know how you feel, but I feel that there are dogs that can sense when their master or whatever is in danger. You know,
I
I
understand.
think that it's the smell or something.
Smell has a lot to do with it, but it also has to do with dogs. They're smaller and they're close to the ground. They have 4 feet on the ground. So they know when your heart starts beating faster. They know if you have a raise in cortisol, which is the fight gene. They could sense that. If your body's preparing itself to fight, like you have elevated adrenaline, they feel it. Like most animals can feel humans' hearts when they start. We don't notice stuff like that, but when we get angry, we get warmer, we start to sweat more, and that
Well,
makes us smell.
I know, you know, like when I lived, I forgot where it was, on 92nd Street. This guy had 2 dogs, and I don't know what brand they were, breed they were.
Chows.
Chows.
The
These were not chows.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what breed they were.
Well, I think I remember saying you not liking chows. That's the one dog you don't really like, right? The chow.
What did I say about a chow?
Okay. It wasn't you then.
Well, anyway, this guy, he had these 2 big dogs. He had this big metal pipe, you know, yeah, and he had the dogs on a chain. And when he would come out, you know what? Everybody would give him the whole sidewalk. Him and the dog, because he was vicious dog. he's about the only one there. All right, well, people had little neighborhood stores, and they would rent, the dog, and like they leave the dog, they rent the dog, and they would leave the dog in their stores, those stores or what. Oh, nobody messed with it, because there was a lot of breaking in.
Mm-hmm.
But these were killers.
They killed people?
I don't know if you know, but there are dogs that are taught to protect their territory and to do their job, and they know damn well you don't live here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't come in here
Mm-hmm.
if you value your life.
And any dog that can't be trained to do that, those are the dogs I don't like. Like I say, I like intelligent dogs. And so there are a lot of happy-go-lucky dogs that are just let a burglar in or lick them or something like that.
I'm not talking about that.
I don't like those. But this is about training. Because a Rottweiler could be like that if you don't train them right.
Anyway, what I'm saying, these were protected dogs, and he would rent them out. Mm-hmm. And those places that he rented them out, damn well nobody broke in. Because they were killers.
And the people were cowards.
Well, I don't think anybody in their right mind gonna run up against a dog that's ready to tear you apart.
Humans are stronger than dogs, and if a human is trained to deal with dogs, the dog doesn't stand a chance. It's not a fair fight. A dog versus a man.
If a person maybe have a gun.
Or their bare hands. Dog catchers don't use guns. I tried to be a dog catcher, but they wouldn't let me because I'm a criminal. My convict record. They won't let me be a... Actually, where I was applying for it, I would have been catching more wild animals than dogs. It would have been more deers and possums and raccoons where I was applying for the job. But some man has to be brave enough to face everything that everybody else is scared of. If not for bravery, where are we going to be? All people, and that's one thing. Like I have a real problem with my son. He has his grandmother is definitely afraid of dogs. She's working on it, and it's something that we've been working on. But that fear that she has of dogs, she passed it down to my son. And a son of mine, in my opinion, it's not acceptable for him to be afraid of things that men shouldn't be afraid of. There are some things men should never be afraid of, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised you don't agree with that sentiment.
Well, I think the bravest man almost gonna go, a vicious dog.
Somebody has to do it.
Unless they maybe have a gun, then they can shoot the dog.
Well, that's cowardly. Why would you? If you're a grown man, we have 2 arms, 2 feet, we have muscles and big bones.
I don't care.
To fight a dog with a gun is cowardly, I think.
Well, I don't care because the dog don't give a damn about the gun. You understand? And they're quicker than you. Mm. As a rule. Okay?
That's
well, whatever you want to call it.
If they're quicker than us, then how come we always catch them and we train them and we put them in cages and we tie them
what
up?
They usually do? You know what they usually do?
And you know what dogs come from.
You know what they usually do?
What do who usually do?
Train the motherfucking dog while he's young.
That's the best idea.
Okay, but I'm talking about, you know what I mean? A dog that is there to protect you, your family, your property, or whatever, and they know this is their territory, and you're a stranger, you're not coming in for no good. They'll try to eat you up.
But that's unacceptable because there are mailmen and garbage. I was a garbage man for 2 years. If I was afraid of dogs, my job would have been almost like torture for me, wouldn't it? If I was afraid of dogs and the other animals, I did trash in the country. You lift up a dumpster, sometimes possums jump out of them. We have mountain lions out there where my mom lives. There was a mountain lion right behind our house a couple years back. And you lift up a dumpster, a lot of times, depending on time of year, you lift up a dumpster and there'll be 30 snakes under there.
But do you think you can train a snake?
Yes, you can train a snake.
Really?
Rattlesnakes too, yes.
I wouldn't want that.
In Texas, they had the rattlesnake roundup every year, right?
Well, I know. But I know I wouldn't, I don't care for snakes.
But like I remember when I was talking to the girls about bugs, how you never panic when you see a bug. You stay calm, you calm your breathing, and you look at the bug, you isolate it, and then you catch it. We are humans. If we never panic, fear, I believe, is the most dangerous emotion in the planet, and fear is the one thing that keeps us from coming together. And I think it's important for men to try their best to not be fearful or prejudiced, because that, I
All right,
believe,
okay. Well, I think a lot of people think like that they could be dead. Okay.
well, Grandma, look, think about me and my situation, the environment I grew up in. If I was afraid, I wouldn't have spent as much time playing in the streets as I did. And I learned a lot, and I gained a lot of good things from playing outside so much.
Mm-hmm.
And look at now, people have fear. They don't let their children play outside anymore, and I feel sorry for those kids because playing outside was what made my childhood so great. Even though I was very poor and we had a lot of issues.
I've done a lot of innocent children and whatnot. People every motherfucking day get killed.
There's still the same amount of children now that they play inside. The same amount of children die, but they die from other things. They die from accidents.
I'm talking.
They shoot each other in the houses sometimes.
I'm talking about out in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are playing.
Mm-hmm.
People are walking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they can get killed by a dog or something and step on their territory.
Well, that's why dogs are not allowed to roam the street. And see, in Chicago, it's good. They don't allow dogs to roam free. Where I live in Texas, we have a dog problem. There are lots and lots of wild dogs walking all around, right even downtown.
And even, I don't know if you know it, but dogs can, I guess maybe all animals, but I know dogs can smell fear.
They have animal instincts.
And you know what fear
Any predator
causes? To attack. To attack.
But some dogs are trained very well. You
I
can
don't
keep them.
think they have to be trained.
If you
I think it's basic instinct. Okay?
okay.
Okay, it's the same thing like you can see somebody and you can see, you get a sense that that person is not up to no good. You can sense that.
But usually you're wrong when you're prejudiced
like
that.
But I'm saying when you're not wrong.
Most of the times when people get that judgment, it's a person just trying to go about their business.
But
they just look
always.
undesirable to some
But
people.
it's something you. Oh my God.
And that's why I say I try to avoid prejudice.
Don't you understand that sometimes you can sense danger?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, but most people.
Well, you know, like you might go somewhere in a maybe a different neighborhood,
Right.
and you can get a feeling of danger, and that feeling might be real.
It might be, but it might not be. So don't panic and assess the situation.
You understand what I'm saying?
Don't panic.
So I'm not gonna, try to be a brave ass and ignore that feeling. I think
Grandma,
you have that feeling for your protection.
Some people.
Okay, not I think all people.
Well, some people
That
have to train
sense.
themselves past that.
You can, you can sense
Like for instance,
danger.
I think you should never be a police officer if you can't control your fear and you don't. If you panic in stressful situation, you should not be a police officer.
Oh well, I'm talking about I'm talking about an ordinary damn person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not talking about a policeman.
Okay.
I'm talking about an ordinary, you know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes, like I said, pay attention to your emotions. And I think everybody should have that kind of sense.
I agree.
Like you walk into somewhere and you think, I got this dangerous feeling. I mean, this scary feeling that I need to try to get the hell out of here.
Right, Grandma. You know, I was driving trucks all over the country, so I had to.
I'm still saying.
I'm not saying I don't respect others.
Almost everybody has that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
No.
Well, yeah.
Well, see, and here's the point, Grandma. Like, think about the environment. Well, you remember me as a little boy. Grandma, was I scared as a little boy? Do you remember me being afraid of anything?
No, I don't remember that. No, I really don't.
You don't remember me as a little boy, Grandma?
No, not being fearful or something like that. But I'm
Right, y'all used to tell me that I didn't have enough fear.
I'm a person like this. I do not like to be in the dark.
Hmm.
Some people like things pitch black. I don't.
I like both. I like sunlight and nighttime.
Well, that's you.
Because you can only see the stars when
I
all the
say
lights
that
go
is
away.
you.
Well, lots of the stars, Grandma, the stars are, when you go out to
I'm
like,
not talking about being out.
okay.
I don't want to come in a dark house. You understand what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't want to sleep in a dark room.
Hmm.
I want a little light, and I always have. Because I have all kinds of imaginations. You in the dark. Some people like it dark. I don't.
I used to be afraid of dark. I used to have to sleep with a nightlight. But my mom helped me work through that. I was
Well,
really young, but she helped me work through that. And I'm grateful because most of my jobs, most of my work has been at night. When
well,
most people are sleeping, I'm up working.
I'm still saying some people can get over their fears, and some can't.
And you know what my last job was? My
Well,
last job, I was delivering pizza in downtown San Antonio. And San Antonio now is the seventh largest city in America. And I work downtown. Most of the projects in San Antonio are in the downtown area, and we have to deliver to them if they order pizza. Not all, not all delivery places deliver to high crime areas. My pizza place, Papa John's, downtown San Antonio. If you're close enough to us to deliver in 8 minutes or less, we'll deliver to anybody, and we deliver to 1 o'clock in the morning.
I think they do the same thing all over. I don't know.
It's about local policy.
Well,
Our local policy is to not refuse anybody service unless they is a reason, unless they. But the point is, you can't do that job and work the night shift. You're not going to want to deliver to the projects at 1 o'clock in the morning if you're scared. And if you have to deliver a pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning to the projects, it's best to not be afraid. It's best to be calm, look around, pay close attention. If somebody's staring at you, pay attention to that person. You got to pay attention to everything. And fear makes your heart beat fast. It makes your brain race. You can't concentrate and focus. So like my son, he's 7 now, and he's afraid of the dark. He's afraid to sleep by himself. And it's very important for me to try to help him get past these fears so that he's not a slave when he becomes an adult, because I think fear enslaves most of us these days. Just like what are most Americans afraid of right now? They're afraid of Muslim terrorists. When most terrorist murders in this country happen from domestic terrorism. We had September 11th, 2,000 people died back then.
I grew up on 41st and King Drive.
MLK?
What?
You talking about MLK, Martin Luther King Drive?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't called that then. Okay, it was South Carolina. Well, anyway, these Moorish people, and I'm trying to see how old I was. I guess maybe 13 or something like that. And my friend lived, well, I don't know if you know where Metropolitan Church is on the south side. Well, it's on the south side.
A lot of churches on the south side.
Okay. So anyway, I lived up in 449 East 41st Street.
Not far from where we used to live.
Yeah, and so, the boulevard
Mm-hmm.
and the church was across the street, Metropolitan. Okay. So anyway, my friends and I, we lived far back, but my best friend, her boyfriend, they lived facing the boulevard. Okay. So it's in the summertime, and so everybody called him Snooky, but his name was Ed. And his brother, him and his brother slept in the front room. And his brother's in his bed, his younger brother.
You want me to throw this in the microwave for you?
No, just be secure. Okay. So, his younger brother was asleep in his bed. So Edward, it's hot, and like I said, in the summertime, and so he couldn't sleep. So he's sitting in the the you know front windows, you know, ground, ground floor, and so he's got the windows open and he's looking out on the boulevard and everything. Recently, these Moorish people moved around there, and they wear those
Fezzes.
fezzes and the women wear them, and all that shit. So they moved around there, and they had this big house they called the temple, and all that bullshit. So anyway, like in sometime they'd have like a carnival. All right, there was one guy. He would go and visit shut-ins and cut their hair and read the Bible to them. Okay. So I'm trying to think. Well, this was after midnight, like in the summer like that. All right, so like I said, my girlfriend's boyfriend, he couldn't sleep. So he's sitting in the window looking out over the boulevard and all kinds of stuff, and the window's open. So, like I said, this guy that would go and read the Bible to, like bedridden guys and things, cut their hair and pray for them and all that bullshit. So, he was coming from that. All right, this Moorish guy said, "Yeah, I saw you and your friends were laughing at me." And he said, "I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "I'm coming from, and he said, and why would I laugh at you?" So he kept on walking. So the guy walked up to him, pulled out this big knife, grabbed him by, I think he shot him first. I think that's what he shot. But anyway, because he's straddling. He's on the ground, and he said, "Please, mister, don't shoot me anymore. I'm trying to get home." And he said, "You and somebody was laughing at me at the carnival." He said, "I haven't been to the carnival." And he said, "It wasn't me, And he said, "Please, I'm trying to get home." Now, Edward, my friend's boyfriend, he's watching all this. So he pulled him by the hair and took out this long knife, cut his damn head off. Cut the man's head off.
The Moorish guy sounds like he was having a psychotic episode.
I don't know whatever the hell it was. You understand what I'm saying?
He was visioning something in his head that
I don't know
wasn't
what
real.
the hell was going on with him. You understand what I mean?
He had a fearful episode. He was afraid people were laughing at him, and it sounds like it
I don't
drove
give a
him
damn
crazy.
what it was. The man was nuts.
Right.
That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so anyway, Edward is watching all this. And then after that, he ran up on the boulevard and started shooting at cars.
Right. He had a real episode. He really
So
lost his
anyway,
mind.
the police came and they chased him around in front of the temple and shot him dead, of course.
Right.
All right, so it was all in the paper, and and Ed was telling us about this. You know what I mean? We couldn't all believe, but like I said, it was in the paper and all that kind of stuff. This man that ran amok. I know you've heard the word amok, many crazy, and killed. Like I say, everybody in the neighborhood loved this guy that would go in and pray for
the guy that was murdered, right?
and shade. So, by us being young, Metropolitan Funeral Parlor, I don't know if you know anything about it. Well, anyways, on the south side. So, we young and we just couldn't hardly believe this. And of course, that this is something that this boy is not going to forget the rest of his life.
Right.
Because he's watching all this.
Right.
All right, so we all went up to the funeral ball. Because we're going to see, especially me, how they going to view his body. And you know, they had him in the coffin. And I went all around looking, and they had this high collar on,
Right.
you know, with his head.
Because they wanted him to look as presentable as possible.
Right, right. But, but you know, that's me. Because I was wondering how they going to view his body. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I really thought I wanted to be an Obama once.
Right. It runs in our family.
So anyway, but I said that's something that he'll never forget the rest of his life. Because he's seen all this.